G'day guys, so Noot Noot back again. Welcome back for another episode of PixArk tutorials and guides. Today we'll be going through a bit more of a probably um, discussion onto whether or not the bosses are worth it. So if we have a look down, you can kind of see what I'm trying to do today. What I'm going to be doing is spawning in about 50 of each of the bosses to kind of see. I know similar what loot they drop, but to see if I kill 50 of them, what actually quality loot they drop, and as the game is currently, would it be worth it for an actual in-game? As different bosses have different difficulty levels, some of them won't be able to be killed currently in game just because of how ridiculously OP they are. So I'll be discussing that as well. But for now, I'm just going to pretty much kill these guys, and we're going to go through some of the loot that they can give you. Now this is the Mummy King, so we've got 50 of them here. He is probably one of the lower end bosses. You still can kill him at the moment, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill them off, and we'll check what loot they give us. So I'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. So I've killed off all of the skeletons. Now, these guys actually had a bit of a loot buff in the previous update, or the latest update, I should say. They used to just give basic loot. Now, you can find these guys, the Zombie King, Mummy King, sorry, in the pyramids, which are found at the very, very bottom of the pyramids in a big area. They have a decent amount of health, and you really can't kill them without either some magic, which thunder doesn't work on them because they're underground. So fire, water, earth, those types of magics. They are pretty hard to kill. You can kill them as well with swords, but you will have to have some form of steel sword before you can actually do damage. Otherwise, you'll just, every time you hit them, you'll just hear the ding ding, and you're not doing any damage. So I've killed all 50 of those guys, and I've just put all of the loot that I got in a crate. Now, in here, it actually filled up exactly 50 slots. Now, I killed 50 of them, but not all 50 of them gave loot boxes. In most loot boxes, there was about 2 to 3 items. So I'd say I probably only got about 15 or 16 boxes out of the 50 that I killed. So it's a very low drop rate, or chance that you'll get something. Now, the type of loot that you get, it will be primarily steel bone armor from the Zombie King. But it is very low grade armor, so it's very basic. You might get lucky and get like a Mastercraft one, but the quality of the Mastercraft, even though it's Mastercraft, will be a lot less. You'll get some pistols for it, so the best one I got was an excellent pistol. Cross Mastercraft compound bows though, compound bows, it gave a lot, like the highest being 181 damage, which is really good. It did give a apprentice steelbone sword, which was nice, but other than that, it doesn't really give you much else. It's more worth it now than it was before the update, but you still have a battle on your hands. It's whether or not you want to put the resources up to get the return. Saddle-wise, it does give a fair amount of saddles. It's very basic saddles though, like being apprentice being the highest. It's the starter boss, so it does give very low gear. Anyway, I will be back with the next boss, and we'll go from there. Alright, catch you then. Okay, back again. So we've got the Ice Queen. So this is the next boss. We're going to see if they've changed the loot at all. Now, I know they put something in the patch notes about changing the way some of the creatures or some of the bosses attacked. I haven't tested it yet on official just because it was been PvP time and I haven't really been doing the bosses, as it's kind of pointless, as on the server that I play on, the dungeons are pretty much packed when PvP time is on because they're just attacking each other and stealing each other's items. So these guys normally are found on the top of the ice cave, or the ice castle I should say. They're actually normally pretty good to kill, but I normally have about 2 people with steel swords. As long as you're both hitting her consistently, she really will get stuck and not do a lot of damage. But just be wary of the spikes in her room because they do a decent amount of damage as well. So I'm going to kill these guys off, and we'll see roughly what type of loot she gives. Now I have an idea on what type of loot she gives. She gives some magic gear, but I just want to more so just check the quality as well as the drop rate. So I'll be back to check that one out. Welcome back, guys. So we've killed off all the Ice Queens. As I said before, they're not that hard to kill off if you've got a couple people with you. You can solo it, but it will just take a long time. Now, these guys have a lot better spawn rate. Even before the update, they gave a lot more bang for your buck. So all three of these chests are nearly full, meaning that I think it was only about 4 that didn't actually give a chest. So the chance of you getting no chest is actually very low. Now, she actually drops 3 items when she gets killed. So if we have a look, the kind of items you'd be expecting from there are steel tools, so your steel pickaxes, steel axes, you've got your electric prods, which are really good against PvP time. Unfortunately, they can't be repaired at the moment, which is another issue with one of the game. You get other tools. You've got some decent Mastercraft like steel bone swords that you get. You don't have a high chance of getting them, and some chainsaws. So chainsaws just used for wood collection and that type of stuff. She also drops different types of saddles compared to the Mummy King. Some of the saddles you'll be expecting to get would be Ghost Dragon saddles, so they're just low end Ghost Dragon saddles, low end Mega Rock Dragon saddles, low end and Elemental Golem saddles, T-Rex saddles, Bronto Ceropod saddles, and Journeyman, the lower end Quetzal saddles as well, just not platforms. She does give some decent magic stuff, so you can expect to get a decent amount of magic wands from her. She does drop rocket launchers, which is good, but the quality of them, like it's not really going to make a difference if she drops a higher one versus a lower one due to the update that they brought out, which made all rocket launchers do the same amount of damage, which is a little bit annoying in a way. You do get some sniper rifles, which would be good. As I said in my previous video, you can actually upgrade these to be better. We get some AKs, so as you can see, this is an Ascendant assault rifle. If we look at this Mastercraft one, it actually has more damage, which is it goes to show that even though it's Ascendant, doesn't mean the quality of it is actually good. You can have a low quality Ascendant and a high quality Mastercraft, and it will still be better than the original one. We also get, in the next chest, we get some decent steel bone gear. It's still lower end stuff, but this is probably the more important stuff. She actually drops magic resistant gear. So this stuff actually protects you against magic. So when you're PvPing, you most of the time you won't get actually struck, as you can just run away. But magic can be shot at you from a distance. This will prevent them from doing as much damage via the magic. And you do get quite a lot of it. As I said, you get 3 items per crate. So now what I'm going to be doing, we've got 2 bosses left. I'm going to spawn in the Behemoth. He's the next boss, and we'll go through that in a minute. Alright, back again, guys. So we've spawned in another 50 Behemoths. Now, these ones are actually quite a lot harder to kill than the Ice Queen. So these probably would require a few people. You wouldn't be able to solo this by yourself unless you've got a heap of magic, and you could do it from a distance. So these guys have a huge amount of health, plus they can dish out a bunch of damage. They're not impossible to kill, but they are not the easiest thing to kill since the patch anyway, with the armor patch that they brought out, which made it so that we could pretty much get like 3-4 hit by these guys, even with 500 health. So I'm gonna pretty much kill these guys now, and we'll see what type of loot they give. Yeah, so I'll be back in a minute. One thing I quickly show, this is actually new since the update. I haven't versed one of these guys since it, but they actually changed color, which I thought was really interesting. It's kind of like a Berserker or Rage mode. I thought that was pretty interesting, so I thought I'd just show you guys. Now, I'll be back in a second with the results. Alright, and back again. Now, this is kind of where I start to rant. So, these guys are, like, as I said, not impossible to kill, but very hard to kill. Now, the loot quality they drop, I'll give you an example, is only a little bit better than what the Ice Queen gives you, but only a little bit better. Like, you get Mastercraft stuff, but this probably gets more to the root of why I'm making this video. It's reward versus the effort to take. Being that this boss, if I spawn this one in, this is the one that I have the issue with. Okay, so this boss right here, okay, the Death Lord, they for what you kill them with, right? They give you primitive stuff and not even like decent gear. And these guys are one of the hardest things in the game to kill. Like you will struggle to kill one ever. Now, this is one of the issues I've always had, well, since the armor update, since I've had with this game. It's forcing people to not be able to solo things. Granted, that is okay, but they've literally made this boss impossible to do without a ridiculous amount of magic being put into it by multiple people. So I'll give you an example, right? I've got 140 health, okay? If I spawn one of these guys in, which I will right now, and I get out of God mode, he gets me in 2 shots, right? Even if I had 500 health, he will kill me. Now, the issue is as well, is if I had a dino, which I'll show you as well, with his health pool and the ability to spawn in multiple monsters, if I spawn in, let's say, now this obviously will be level 1, but look at that, I'm already getting hit. Come here. Okay, so this thing has, where is it? 5,000 health. Now if I go and try and attack this, you can see my dino's health just, it gets obliterated. Oh, I'm actually stuck in it currently. Now, it's not impossible, but you'd be risking your dinos to try and kill it. Oh wow, what the hell happened there? Give us a sec. Okay. So unless you've got a big tribe, you're not going to ever be able to take this out. And I mean, for the difficulty that it is, it's kind of one of those things like, why would you need to or want to? As well as these guys have a huge respawn rate. So if you do have an alpha tribe on your map, then you'll rarely ever see one, let alone have the chance to beat one. So that's pretty much my rant over. That's it for today, guys. I just wanted to give you a bit more of an insight if you are a newer player on what kind of loot the bosses will give, and the tiering system. So obviously it'll go, the weaker dungeons will give you lesser loot. The medium dungeon, I'd say, would be the desert, and then you've got your ice caves and your higher up ones. But your ice castles are the ones you want to go for. They're still achievable with a small group of people, as well as you do get a decent amount of loot. That's pretty much it for today, guys. I hope you can like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. The next video I'll be doing is more of a buildy episode. So I'm going to show you my base setup that I would normally use on official. It's really good, and I will also show you how to rate it. That way you can, if you do come across a base like this, you can then attack it. That's all for today, guys. I will catch you in the next one.